But it's the idea, I want you guys to take the freedom of knowing who I am, what our company is, what our area is, and then being creative of like, hey, this would be a cool video, this would be a cool post, this would be a cool graphic, this would be something that we could use and say that this is gonna be something that we can put on that's what I call on brand. Now, the one thing I wanna preface this because every single, well, say, not Safari yet, but all three of you guys so far, I haven't seen anything from Hunter, but you guys just, one thing you have to really get down, and I'm very lenient on this because you guys are just starting, is you guys have to proofread stuff, okay? Because every time I get something, one of the reasons that sometimes they take too long to get back to you is there's proofreading errors, and like, listen, I don't have enough time to go through and basically spell check or autocorrect or do all this stuff for you guys, so just when you're looking through it, and we're all human, you make mistakes. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, fuck Jackson, he's all these spelling errors. But at the end of the day, I don't want to have to look at it because I think I sent one back to you and it just said there's some or Jordan or someone I sent.
Yeah, I think there was one for me. It was just like the context of it. You like changed like certain things.
Certain wording, like the wording is. I'm not as critical on it for you guys. Sometimes it doesn't sound like something that. Like really from our, that's why like I like typing in the captions when we do quote cards. I like it coming like what I said because I want it to be authentic for me. I don't want it to be something like really sounding like it's not me. But what I would want you guys to do is kind of look at how I write and try your best to emulate that if you can. Obviously it's a little harder said than done, easier said than done. But if you, the spell checks though, like just make sure that there's correct apostrophes and like you're using the correct your, you know, you are, things like that. Make sure that there's a couple things. I think I'm just gonna pick a new one this one, but like when you had my name bold, which I thought was cool, but then the Y wasn't bold. So it's a little thing. Like I don't mind my name being bold and the stuff underneath not, because I like that contrast because it's a little more eye catching. But again, the Y wasn't, and it's a small thing. It takes you 2 seconds to fix. But it's little things like that. Just make sure, because again, I don't really care. But if you guys all of a sudden go out and become marketing, and you're on staff, and some company's hiring you to do a bunch of marketing work, like this is where you can kind of make your errors. Obviously, I don't want you to, but I'll be much more apt to say, hey, listen, guys, just switch this stuff around. But for you guys, just knowing going forward, like, hey, this is just a good habit to get into. Is just, I mean, reread stuff 2-3 times if you have to. Like, before I post stuff, I very rarely make mistakes on mine because I'm so critical on my writing. Like, I'll read through my post, even if it takes me an extra 5 minutes to read through it twice more, I will, because I think it's, because again, if we're making little errors like that, because you got to think we're in a position where we're selling people a house, we're selling their home or they're buying a house. It's a pretty big investment. If I post something that the spell errors and things like that, what does that reflect on me? That the attention to detail is not there. Where a lot of people, when they're going through stuff like that, they want the attention to detail. So just kind of come from you always want at the end of the day things just to sound and look and read correctly. Okay, so that's like my critique. So just if we can really focus on that from now on, it's just I want to make sure you guys are, and it'll make us go quicker too. Because if you just send it, it'll be good. So the video can film a team bonding experience. That's exactly why we're gonna be. That's why I started filming this. We should be filming everything. That's one of my. Like I don't have someone full time on staff that would be a videographer. I want that at some point, and they literally will have a camera on 24/7 here because I just want them to. They're probably going to delete 85%, 90% of what we film, but at least we have it. We talked to Jordan before, like we don't have it, we don't film it, we never have it. Like there's so many moments we miss, we're like, shit, that would have been a great meeting to go over, but we didn't film it. So I'd rather film and delete if we're just like, yeah, that meeting was kind of boring, let's cut it. Local matters, part of me thinks we could probably, because I do want to do that local matters on the road. That's brand new to, I think you guys have heard about it. Again, the reason I haven't fully committed to this is because, to be honest, I just don't think we have everything in place to do it correctly. I don't want to rush to put it out, do it half-assed, and it doesn't like really have pop to it. And the next thing I know, we're doing one, and then we do two like really quick, and all of a sudden it takes us 6 weeks to put out the third one. I hate that. That's like the worst thing you can do is have inconsistency in whatever you're posting. If you're gonna do something, if it's gonna be once a week, make sure it's once a week. We try to do the podcast. Yes, have you missed a couple of the podcasts? 100%. I was on vacation last week. Week before, Ellie was gone. I don't think I ended up doing a solo one. I think we were one.
Yeah,
There was 2 in a row that I missed. I only did 1 solo. So, and then like my actual podcast with people, like I have one coming this Friday, but I've been bad at getting people on schedule. I should have at least 1 or 2 scheduled a week. I just haven't been able to do that, partly because I just haven't put the time in to actually call these people up and say, most people will do it, just I gotta get them on. But I liked what you said, the quote card of where local matters is, do we tie something in with like a still photo of local matters on the road? But I think that's gonna be a spin-off of local matters on the road. Like we do a video where we do everything, we can then take still from a lot of those videos and just put those now as quote cards or drip campaigns or advertising for other companies. Because I would like to use our platform, and if you guys can, I think I showed you last time that East County Eats or whatever, that guy. I have a whole, did I send you the booklet too of what he did? So we had this whole thing on how he does this, like what the email they send, what the schedule of events is, and the videos are all like under 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes tops, which is pretty much all we want to do. We want to have like a very quick segment where I'm going to talk to them for maybe 15 minutes about whatever, and then do a little bit in the kitchen and just kind of blur over, and it's just going to be like a quick snapshot. And the whole goal is to basically expose that business. It doesn't have to be a restaurant, it can be whatever, but expose that business where it's going to put them out and give them free publicity. The reason we're doing that is because, does anybody have any guesses why us as a real estate company are promoting other people?
It's to draw attention to the town.
Yep.
Potential buyers.
Yep, and if you guys can, I'm very big on how do you squeeze the lemon, make the lemonade, okay? If we have an episode like that, think about that. We go to, Latitude 44, okay? The guy that owns it's a good friend of mine. We go to Latitude 44, it's a good restaurant locally, it's a small independent company. Like I don't want to go to Texas Roadhouse, I want to go to a local place. So we go to Latitude 44, and I sit down with Dave, we do this cool little segment, and then we film the food, we film everything, it looks really good, everything's like fairly good attention to detail. We chop it all up, it looks really good, and we put it out in a reasonable time frame, like within a week. Then we tag him on the post, and then ideally is we get a couple of gift cards that we can raffle off. Mm-hmm. So now think about it, we have a post with us and him. We are now considered and I use this as like the late night show, like take Jimmy Fallon. If Jimmy Fallon in a week, I actually saw a commercial for it this past week, Jimmy's like, we got so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so coming on for the week. Okay, that's great. These people are all bigger names than Jimmy Fallon. Mm-hmm. But guess whose show it still is? The Jimmy Fallon show. Guess when people refer to, oh, you're going on the Fallon show tonight, or late night, it's Jimmy Fallon. So the idea is that if we host the event, if we host the segment, if we host so I do the podcast, if I host it, I automatically am now seen as the celebrity of that. I don't have to be the main celebrity. Like bringing on a Brad Pitt, more famous than me, more famous than Jimmy Fallon, but Jimmy Fallon's the one hosting, he's still moderating, he's still running the show. James Corbin or whatever his name is, they're all doing it. Carpool karaoke. He sits with someone that's way more famous than he is, but he's still the show and he draws most of the attention. So, but from there, we now have that aspect, and then what happens from that? You guys, we drip it out on social media, okay? And what happens? We tag them. So what do you think Dave's gonna do now that Latitude is tagged?
He's gonna share it.
He's gonna share it on their business page that I guarantee you probably has 2,000 to 3,000 people that like it. He's gonna share his personal page. His wife's gonna share it. Their families are gonna share it. Next thing you know, this organically grows to massive numbers. Like that post, even if I was to drop in like $25 behind it for like a boost locally in our area, mm-hmm. That post I guarantee you has potential to reach 6,000 to 10,000 people. Now 6,000 to 10,000 people are gonna see me, are gonna see our logo, are gonna see us moderating this, and then what's gonna happen, local matters on the road, all this cool stuff, then we do this for like 6 months, put out 2 a month, so now we have, 12 episodes over 6 months, then you're gonna start having people wanting to come on the show. They'll be like, hey, can you come do our show? Can you do our show? It's like what I've done with real estate. Why are people asking me to help them buy a home? They weren't. 5 years ago, they know who I was. But now, okay, same thing, they know about this, and then what are they gonna say? Hey, I think we're gonna wanna, you know, I like Kavanaugh, actually they sell homes, let's use them, they seem like a good group of people. And we're promoting the local market too, which is a lot of karma involved in that too, you know, just being good. The other cool thing, where we've been using hashtag local matters for over a year now, there's a guy running for mayor locally, like in the election, I think in November, and 2 of his posts yesterday just started, he put hashtag local matters in his post. Nobody's ever said that in our area until we started a year ago. So obviously this guy is jumping on kind of that and saying, hey, I like that, I've seen that, let me put that as a hashtag in a mayor campaign. Well, it's funny because then he sees that and, you know, probably a few hundred people to 1,000 people or however many are seeing his posts. So he's somebody I might try to get in my podcast, which ties in with kind of like cross promoting we talk about. Like you guys do it all the time in Barstool, like you guys can blast other campuses or other pages.
Yeah, like for March they do the best bar, so like obviously the local bars, they all have social media, or at least the good ones do. And I can speak for Washington State, I know that like their biggest bar, the Coug, is like always active on social media. So like not only when you post like, oh hey, these schools' bars are in like the best bar in the country, like they'll tag the bar and the bar will retweet it, and then all the people that work at the bar will retweet it, like all the students and the people that work for the bar and the people that go to the bar that aren't even in college go to the bar.
Yeah, I mean it's organic, and the thing is you guys have to learn. They teach you a lot of this in marketing? That's
digital. If you take digital marketing, I don't know who's teaching now, but when I had a mod taught about that.
Was it pretty good? Like, was he pretty...
Imad's really good. He's at a startup right now, and he also teaches at Western Carolina. Or no, Connecticut, excuse me.
Is he, because the thing I'm always curious on...
He went to another school.
I'm always curious on stuff like this is because a lot of this is like real world examples, like how it actually works, like especially depending where you are. I mean, obviously we're in a smaller market. If you guys go into a bigger city, you got to figure out how to market within a bigger city, which you can. I mean, you definitely can. It's just a matter of tailoring to your target market. Ours, small area, very community centric, like double, triple, quadruple down on that concept. And that's what I want to do. And the thing is, we're getting a lot of notoriety because of the stuff we're posting, which I talked about before. Basically our 4 things: talk about real estate, talk about marketing, talk about mindset, and then talk about the local community. Those are like the 4 pillars of what I want to focus on. So I think as long as we're using those 4, then we're good. Like, do it in one of those. It doesn't all have to be about real estate. It doesn't all have to be about, you know, me. I post a lot about mindset because that ties, we talked about before. Real estate is really geared at what? It kind of keeps people at the forefront. It's kind of like, I'm trying to think of a company that is really good at one thing, but they are trying to promote other stuff too. Perfect example, yesterday, I ordered this coffee from this company called Black Rifle Coffee. It's like a coffee company, they do a subscription, you probably heard of them, they do a subscription service. They're like a US, like veteran-owned coffee thing. So I was looking at the page, like they're a coffee company, so they post coffee, but then they have a bunch of photos of them like volunteering time, them veterans, all this stuff. So for them, even though they're a coffee company, they're still posting about their community and their charity events. So for us, same thing, we're real estate, so we still have real estate stuff. But when I talk about business mindset or business tactics that I use or I've gained over 10 years, that now goes farther than just our real estate community. Same thing with marketing tips. Other businesses can now come up and say, man, I'm gonna follow this guy because I like the way he's doing stuff. Can we take some of his ideas and or want to meet with him, which now gives me what? Another face-to-face interaction that I can leverage for future business. And then the community, obviously, because that has even farther reach. So those are the 4. So I would say each week when we do this, if you can come up with 1 or 2 per category, like if all of you could do that, actually that's what we're gonna do. Those are gonna be our 4 pillars. Focus on trying to come up with 1 from each per week, minimum. So like minimum we have 4 pieces of content. Now, granted, if like 4 pieces of content would be 4 like solid pieces of content. If all of a sudden we're doing like a couple quote cards from a podcast, I would say that number could probably increase, meaning, you know, if you listen to one of my podcasts and you pull out 3 little videos or turn them into 2 quote cards, you could probably do that fairly quick, especially once you have a template going. But some of the other stuff, like if you're like, hey, I'm doing one of those slideshows and that took me a couple hours, well then that's one of the other ones, and maybe the other ones you guys can, you know, maybe grab a couple quicker ones, that's fine, but, or you just do, hey, we're gonna do a couple quick ones, because I know there's times Jordan will send me like 4, 5, 6, like, a clip, and you probably did those fairly fast, you know, I mean, a couple hours, but you probably got all the stuff done. I kind of look at it as, I think you guys are supposed to do 15 hours a week. I guarantee you guys aren't doing 15 hours a week for this job, so, and I don't want you to do 15 hours a week, I'm not looking for time, I'm looking for how the quality and the production of what you're doing over sitting at a computer for 15 hours like watching the clock. I don't want you to do that, I want you to have fun with it. So say, boom, okay, we have I need 5 or 6 clips, that might take you 8 hours throughout the week. Work a couple hours here and there and focus on, you know, getting those numbers. So I would say use those 4 pillars, come up with at least 1 to 2 per week, minimum 1, probably max 2. I think if I get 8 in a week from you guys, it's pretty darn good. Then what I want from that is you can mix and mingle however you want, mix and match, whatever, those categories. So I'm looking at the stuff right here, like Sapphira, you have picture, Cabinet Realty's logo in the center, all icons and images of the things the company has to offer. Perfect, if you want to do that, boom, go with it. And same thing, host local events, save money once the weather is better, the event can be outside. Yes, we want to do some of that. I talked to Nicole actually for the home buyer seminar. You want to provide information regarding the company and all the benefits, quote cards. I like all that stuff. And I would say just do it. Like when in doubt, if you think like this is like 80% good, let me just roll it out. Usually what happens, very rarely do I scrap anything. Like if you give me something, I'm taking Jordan because Jordan's made a bunch of stuff for me. I would say less than 10% of the time I don't post something first. Meaning it's either something I don't like, or she's giving me 6 or 7 items and like 2 or 3 of just like whatever. That's very rare. If she gives me 6, I'm probably punting maybe one of them, just because I just don't like the general thought or process behind it. It's not that it's bad, it's just something like, probably not the best scenario, or something I can't build off of. Or I'll just send something back to her and say, hey, change that title, I know what you want to say here, change it to, and even if I did say it as a verbatim quote, which is how I want you guys to take it, I might just say, hey, switch it around a little bit so it sounds a little cleaner in the context, because there's times I ramble a lot, as you guys know. So if you're listening to a podcast and I'm ripping through it and you just do it verbatim, and all of a sudden you put it in there, I'm like, okay, I knew what I said, but it was also in a 1-minute rant, where if I put it down just to a sentence, even though I can write stuff down below, it's not going to have the same punch as if I can tidy that up a little bit with the same thought, but more concise, I guess. So I would say send me stuff. Worst case, I'll just review it and just say, make change here, 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 and here, send it, and just re-edit and send it back.
What were the 4 pillars? Real estate, mindset, community.
Real estate, mindset, community, and marketing. Marketing being like all the stuff I'm throwing at you guys, you can do something there. Now marketing, I would almost argue, is probably going to be the hardest one to do. But marketing could be something where it kind of ties into mindset, kind of ties into real estate, kind of ties into, it could just be something as simple as, and that, bless you, that might be, like it could be something, honestly, it could be here for a marketing meeting. It could be taking this video, chopping it up into micro content. It does not have to be, it could be a 3-4 minute video that we put on Instagram TV, you know what I mean? Put it on LinkedIn, put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube. Boom, hit it all out at the park, that's good. Then we could break that down even further, and you know, we could do a quote card with it. Or we could do even smaller, I'd probably say, if it's a small video, probably a quote card from the small video, not really much caption video. I think caption would be too repetitive, unless there's like a really good like 30-second to a minute caption. But I think you could do a shorter video, whether you do a 2-3 minute video that's completely captioned out, which would be cool, or you just do, you know, or this thing ends up being fairly long, kind of like we did with Anna's, and put out the whole 15-minute thing, just put it out as a video with no caption, so it's fairly easy, cut and paste, and just put that out. That could be a possibility too. I don't think there's really, I don't want to have a lot of like confine you guys to a lot of stuff. I think it's just more of create stuff, like learn, take it upon yourself, community. You know, if you're in the community, just say, you know what, for the next hour, I'm just gonna drive around town and just collect photos. We've done this before. Like we've gone around, take photos of the school, take photos like landmarks, you know, that people will recognize. Like, you know, something downtown, buildings downtown, you know, it could be a street scene. When we sell houses again, you could take a cool looking street scene, you know, down Margaret Street, which we've done with the stores, or up Route 3, or go on like Grace Avenue and take a photo down a pretty street, has all these trees that kind of gape over. You go to the very end, take a photo all the way down, that'd be kind of a cool tunnel vision thing, and we put a caption right in there. I think those are cool because it's a part of our community. And people will be like, oh, I know that street, I know that location. If people can connect with what we're posting, that's why I always make fun of my other friends that do real estate, and they post these stupid videos. They're like, oh, here's 3 things that you need to do for whatever. And it's like this canned stock picture from the internet, and it's just like a link out to some page that they read, and you know it wasn't them doing it, it's some third-party company they're paying to have put out there. They get nothing. There's no interaction with that. It's bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. For us, it's like, hey, we're gonna take a photo of the train station with a quote over it, or we take a picture of a street video or a street thing, take a quote that I said about our community, boom, hit it, blast it, awesome, it's gonna work. Like that's what's really gonna resonate with people, because it's, at the end of the day, it's something that people they can see. You know, they've been there, they know, like kids on campus, like people know Ruber Street, people know Keto, people know, you know, Hawkins Pond is beautiful, Hawkins Hall, like I mean, the sign driving down Broad Street. I mean, those are things people recognize from Plattsburgh. You can go down the nature trail. You can go freaking take us any kind of stores, you know, like downtown has a lot of local stores. Like I try to promote more of the local stuff, but even if it's a picture of Route 3, which I think I have one, I don't think I posted a quote yet on it. Snowboarding on the mountain, white face show, the North Country has to offer. If you buy a house in the North Country, you have great scenery, snowboarding and skiing in the backyard. I kind of like that. We're doing a chamber ski day, which is like a chamber of commerce on Thursday, so maybe I will try to get some footage that day, which I think will be fun. And I think that might be, maybe I can do some kind of goofy vlog day. GoPro would be dope for those nerdy people putting their helmets. Create a comic writing about real estate, like in the newspaper, which I love the comic idea. You've talked about doing something which I like.
But also like for the quote card, with you saying something like, okay, so we have quote card with format like this. I'm gonna change it into like a more comic style. For example, like you with a bubble popping up or something like that. Yeah.
Like what Gary does, I think is cool. People like that. And the thing is that the time you did the slideshow about going to a networking event, that worked out really well. Like, a lot of people like that.
Which one?
Remember the one? This was months ago. This was last semester. You did a little comic thing about going to networking and meeting people, and I think you had like Jordan in the comic or something. Like people like that idea because it was kind of a cute little play on everything, and I think it just was something that kind of had a good little, I don't know, it resonated with people enough that people were like, hey, that's kind of a cool thing to do. And I personally liked it. I think you could do something like that. I like the way Gary's looked more cartoonish. That one looked a little bit more like digital versus a cartoon. Cartoon meaning like Garfield or something where you can actually see the person like drawing it. Like, I think those look cool. However you do it, I'm not sure. I'm sure you could like Google or YouTube like how to design a cartoon online. I don't know if you need a certain software, or I don't know if it's something you need to get.
I think it's just online.